Hi, my name is Chantel and welcome to the NPT Community Reformer class. So over the next few classes with me, as well as obviously looking at the concepts and principles, applying them to our practice, we're also going to have a really strong focus on centering and that deep abdominal connection. So I am 5 months postpartum. I had a cesarean and I still have a little bit of abdominal diastasis. So for me, I can't hold my legs at tabletop right now. And I definitely can't have my hands and straps and do any of that abdominal loading that is usually in the abdominal category. So while reformer-only students, pregnant clients and postnatal clients are outside your scope of practice, this is for our diploma students only, but you will have clients in your classes or sessions that have weak lower abdominals or not a great understanding of how to connect to centering. And therefore, all those exercises that are usually in the abdominal category, like supine series, preparation for 100, are unsafe exercises for them. So we're going to have a look at some alternatives that we can pop in the abdominal category and also ways to cue that good focus, that good understanding, muscle recruitment patterning. And yeah, that's our plan over the next couple of weeks. So let's get started over onto our reformer. So let's keep the carriage still. We'll have, maybe about 2.5 springs on. And let's bring the foot bar down so that we can use the ledge for our feet. I'm going to have my headrest up to begin with. And then we'll carefully bring ourselves down onto the bed. So let's take a moment to find ourselves in our neutral supine position. So let's weight through the back of the head. Let's weight through the ribs. Let's weight through the back of the pelvis. Aware of my feet onto the reformer ledge. The heels are in line with my knees, in line with my sit bone hips. That sense of corkscrewing and drawing the femur heads into the back of the sockets. And let's place our hands onto our lower belly. Feel free to close your eyes if you'd like. And let's start with some diaphragmatic breathing. So we're inhaling slowly, filling up the torso, stretching the chest, stretching the belly, and then exhale all the air out. Once more, breathing in. And then allowing the exhale breath to soften the chest, to soften whatever parts of the spine, pelvis are heavy onto the mat. A few more of these. Last one. Now let's shift the hands up to the fronts of the ribs, moving into our lateral breathing now. So limiting how much the air enters the upper chest and how much the air enters the lower belly. We're going to direct the air down low and wide into the sides and backs of the ribs. So we breathe in. Low side ribs. And then exhale, start to close at the ribs. And start to feel that gentle connection into lower abdominals, into our centering into our torso stability. Liberating. Side ribs glide, sliding rhythm. Exhale, ribs narrowing. start to bring a gentle focus into our lower abdominal connection. You might like to place one hand in the lower tummy as we do this. So you can breathe into the sides of the ribs, limit how much the lower belly inflates. And as we exhale, the ribs shrink, feel that gentle drop down of the abdominal wall, continuing to support though the lumbar spine so that doesn't collapse. Let's try 2 more. Breathe in. Connecting into the lower abdominals, gently shrinking through the ribs. Last practice. We now bring our arms down by our sides. And let's continue that breath focus to the wide side ribs, the shrinking of the ribs on the exhale, the connection into our lower abdominals. And we'll add printing into that. So starting to print through the whole body. So we inhale side ribs. As we exhale and find that torso connection. Once more, start to think about the feet placement in relation to the knees, in relation to the drawing into the femur heads, into the back of the socket. Breath in. Exhale, printing. Hand into elbow, into shoulder, into shoulder. Breath in. Exhale, putting that all together. Torso connection. Leg into hip connection. Hand into shoulder, into shoulder connection. Last one. Taking that now into our imprint. So once more, we're going to place either 1 or 2 hands onto our lower belly. And this will just give us feedback that we're getting that softening, dropping, hollowing into the imprint and not that puffing, doming. So we inhale into the side ribs. Exhale, sink the belly towards the spine, spine towards the mat. As you imprint, lumbar into the floor, pubic bone tips towards the ceiling. So we've got that hollowing out. Inhale, return back to neutral. Then we go again. Exhale. Drawing belly button towards the spine. Tipping the pelvis under. Feeling that hollowing, drawing down. Inhale, return back. Pelvis lumbar to neutral. Few more. So it's a gentle abdominal connection down. We don't need to overwork this. Less is more in the imprint. Just rocking the pelvis under enough to flatten the lower back to the floor. Not really engagement into the back of the hips just yet. Continue to think about printing, connecting legs into hips, pelvis, arms into shoulder. Last one. All right, then let's bring the arms back down by our sides. We take that into a pelvic curl now. So we're breathing once more into our side ribs in our neutral position. Exhale, begin to tip the pelvis under into the imprint. Start to engage a little bit more through the backs of the legs as we begin to roll the pelvis up. Roll the spine up into our bridge position. Have a sense of the knees reaching forwards, heels sucking back. Tumble the spine down. Back to neutral pelvis. I'm just going to take my pen rest down. There we go. Inhaling for back. Exhaling, tip the pelvis under. Connecting into the back of the hips. Hollow out the belly. Roll the spine. Stay for a moment at the top position. Breathe naturally as needed. Print this position. Heel connection into back of hips. Sense of knees stretching forwards. Does that help elongate the legs? Arms pressing down. Check for a moment that we're wide across the collarbones, but also wide across the upper back. Breath in there. Exhale. Tumble down the ribs. Open up the lower back into the imprint. You might like to check that you've got that nice hollow once more. Return the pelvis to neutral. Let's practice that 2 more times. Breath in. Exhale, pelvis tips under. Start to peel, wheel, roll the spine up. At the top, can you sense the knees stretch forward, the head reach back, the collarbones and upper back reach wide. Tumble the spine down. Rest back in neutral. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, gentle hollowing of belly. Connect stronger into back of hips. Wheel the spine up. Take a moment to print the position at the top. Width, length, roll down. Settling in neutral. Okay, so we're going to go into some single leg lifts here. Again, let's use for today our hands onto our lower belly for that connection, feedback into the lower tummy. So we're going to take a breath in. You've still got a little bit of upper arm connected to the mat, which will help for stability. So we'll breathe in, prepare. Exhale, you're going to gently feel that sink of belly to spine without letting the lumbar spine drop down. Can you connect into the left foot, left back hip as you're stabilizing the side, and float the right leg in. Take a moment to print that position in space. So we've got that gentle draw of the thigh into the back of the hip. We've got the length from head to tail. We breathe and prepare. As we exhale now for that gentle sink of the belly. And then the foot replaces that onto the ledge. Breathing, get ready, practice the other side. Exhale, find strong supporting side. Feel the gentle sink of the belly, without the lumbar spine changing. Float the left thigh in. Take a moment, print. Thigh settling down into the back of the hip. We haven't lost any of the length through the spine, so there's that sense of waist suspension. Breath there. And then exhale, roll the leg back down. Ledges. Football, a little bit in the back. Breath in again. Exhale, belly sinks. Stabilize support side. Float, open chain leg in. Back ribs are still heavy on the mat. Lumbar spine is stable. Breath in. Sink tummy. The abdominal control, the hip control to bring the foot back down. Other side, breath in. Exhale, stabilize, connect. Gentle sink down. Inhale there. Exhale, tummy sinks. Control back down. Now let's bring the first leg up. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly sinks. Hold the leg in. Now we're going to practice a toe tap. So we've got those hands there for feedback. Yeah, we're going to take a breath in. Exhale, start to sink the tummy. And then how low can you start to reach that foot down while you still feel that gentle tummy connection? And then inhale, float the leg back. We'll go again. Exhale, connect into centering. Feel the tummy muscles gently drawing down. Start to lower leg. And if you feel like your abdominal muscles are about to pop, you've gone as far as you can for today. Inhale, draw the leg back up. Last practice this side. Exhale, belly sinks. Check if you've still got that nice internal zipper wrap. And this time, place the foot all the way down. All right, practice that the other side. Breath in, prepare. Exhale, belly sinks. Draw the leg up to the single leg lift. Take a moment. Print. It's a bit harder for me on this side. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly sinks. Begin to reach the foot down. Only as low because we've got that good abdominal zip wrapper. Inhale, float back. 2 more. Exhale. Zipping, supporting, floating back up. Last practice. Still feeling the connection to our support side. Legs back up. And then return the leg all the way down. Good. All right, from here we're going to go into a spine twist. So let's draw the feet and the knees together. For a little bit of arm support, we're going to hold onto our hips. Can you feel the pull of the elbows wide out to the side? The upper back is sitting still on the mat, as are the lower ribs. We're in our neutral pelvis, neutral lumbar. As we breathe in, we're going to start to rock the pelvis across to one side and begin to rotate through the spine. Really feeling that connection of the inner thigh muscles to support the lower half. Elbows drawing out to the side, particularly the right elbow now. And then we're exhaling. Feel like you draw lower belly to lower back muscles together. They return you back to center. Check we're in our neutral pelvis and our neutral lumbar spine. We haven't pulled too much with the front abdominal wall that we've gone into our imprint. And let's go across to the other side. Breath in. We begin to twist. Adductors to support the legs, the pelvis. Rotating the spine, wide across the upper back, wide across the collarbones, wide across the elbows. Exhale, begin to draw lower tummy, lower back towards each other for our centering connection to bring us back. Other side, we breathe in, rotate. And exhale, drawing back. Twisting the lower half. Energy reaching out through the top of the head, out through the 2 sit bones tail. Drawing waist narrow. Come back. Let's do 1 more each side. Breath in, we rock, twist. Exhale, draw lower tummy, lower back towards each other. Return. Last practice. Roll back. Good. And then we'll get ourselves off the reformer, so rolling onto the side. And bringing ourselves up. All right, so we're going to bring our foot bar up now. That way. Okay. And I've got my blueprint springs for today, so 2.5. And then carefully bring ourselves back down onto the reformer headrest up or headrest down, depending on the body in front of you. And let's just take a moment to settle our spine, pelvis, full body into our position. So we've got our heavy head, heavy ribs, heavy pelvis in neutral. The alignment of the heels to the knee, to the hip. The length of the arms down by our sides. Placing the heel not too low on the heels, that's very sort of middle middle setting so that there's not too much tension or dorsiflexion through our ankle. And can we have a sense of corkscrewing the head of the thigh into the back of the hip joint? So we're already aware of the muscles around the seat. Good, we've got that gentle wrap connection into the lower belly. And here we go for our leg and footwork doubles on the heel. Exhale, connecting to the seat and have that sense of lift. At the top position, the knees are drawing up. And then as we inhale, start to flex at the knee hip. Draw the carriage back in, again using our seat muscles. And we go, exhale, press away. Sense of suspension through the waist. Keep that waist suspension as we inhale, draw back. So we're checking into that gentle abdominal connection here, just enough to support the lower back so it doesn't press down on our press out of the carriage. Let's do a few more. Exhale, reach away. Inhaling, return. Last one. Lifting from the seat. And drawing back in. Position 2 onto our toes. 5 toes connected to the foot bar. A little lift through the heel. Almost like we've got a kitten high heels on. We're going to avoid the heel dropping down. Corkscrew connecting into the backs of the hips. Awareness into our centering, so just enough to stay stable through the pelvis, through the lumbar. Exhale. Pressing out. Lifting through the seat muscles. Vertical space through the spine, that waist suspension. Keep the waist suspension as you come in. Keep the sole of the foot, the heel, in the same position. Exhale, press. Waist suspension. Back ribs heavy. Inhale to return. 3 more, we press. Inhale, return. And we'll go last one in our toe position. And drawing back. And let's put our feet to our heels together now. We're in our little V position. Once more, that spiral at the head of the femurs into the back of the hip socket. Maybe having to turn up the amount of centering we use now just to avoid any imprint of the pelvis as we press out. We inhale, prepare. Exhale, heel connection to back to hip connection. Press out. At the top, check that we've got that zip from the heel to the inner thigh, up into our waist, still in our neutral pelvis, neutral lumbar, and then drawing with the seat muscles back in. Exhale, press. Waist suspension, vertical height of spine. Keep that as you draw back in, even though we're losing that spring tension. So potentially it's easy to find that stretch through the spine as it's stretching the spring. Try not to lose it as you draw the springs back closed. Let's just take one more. Close back in. All right, let's go back to our parallel toes position. We're going to go into raises. Let's exhale, press away. Just take a moment, check into our neutral pelvis, check into that gentle lower tummy to lower back centering connection. Resist the heels lowering down as we breathe in. The knee muscles continue to draw up. And then we exhale, press into the toes. Feel the zip up through the inner thigh, right up into the deep pelvis, right through the top of the head. We lower down as we breathe in. And we press into the 5 toes, particularly big toe, to get that whole medial line connection as we raise. Inhale, we lower. Exhale. Resisting that lowering, so not hanging into our end range. Open through the front of the hip joint. The last 3. And continue to turn on that waist suspension. That's our last one, and then we'll soften the knees, flex at the hip, flex at the ankle, draw ourselves home, rolling our spine. Okay, so now is when we would be going into the usual abdominal category. So that could be your legs at tabletop, supine sequence, or into preparation for 100 or 100. But I'm not there right now, and like I said, you might have clients that aren't able to bring those 2 legs up to tabletop either. So as a little variation, we're going to do some long box rollbacks. So the rollback is actually an exercise that is in the mat work course. So reformer-only students might be a great idea to add the mat work course to your training, as it gives you a little bit more repertoire that you might be able to play around with. So I'm going to bring red spring on, so 1 spring, and I'm going to get my long box, put onto the carriage. And just with some extra connection into adductors, into pelvis, I'm going to grab a ball to put between my knees. It could be a block, something soft or something hard. I'm going to sit onto the reformer. So giving yourself a little bit of space behind. Yep, ball between knees. And grabbing hold of the straps. So sitting nice and tall, finding that vertical position of the spine, like we were practicing in our supine position. Print the connection of that hand into the elbow, into the shoulder, into the trunk. Have that sense of corkscrewing the head of the thigh into the back of the pelvis. We'll breathe into prepare. Now this is your imprint again. Head of femur still. Imprint the pelvis. And begin to roll the lumbar spine towards the mat. Breath in at the bottom. Exhale. Scoot back, rolling to bring your shoulders over the top of the hips. And stack tall. Now that feeling of drawing belly button to spine is what we're after. So we're inhaling to the side ribs. As we imprint, can you start to draw the belly button deep? Wrapping, narrowing, connecting. Only going down as far as you feel like you've got that hollowing and shrinking. Inhale into the side ribs, trying to hold that lower tummy connection. And then exhale, begin to roll the spine back forwards. Shoulder over hip. Restack tall. 2 more just like this. Shoulder still connected. Into my trunk. Go as low as you feel like you're still abdominally connected. Breathing, hold it. Exhale, continue to scoot deep back through tummy. Roll shoulder over hip. Breathe, stack tall. Last practice. And you stay here for a couple of breaths. Inhale, hold. Exhale, a bit of draw belly. A little bit deeper, drop it towards the spine. Inhale into the side ribs. There's a tiny bit of release through the abdominals, only enough to take the breath in. And exhale, sink the tummy. Connecting a little bit deeper. Check you've still got that connection into your shoulder. I haven't let them go. Last time. Breath in. And exhale, sinking into belly. Continue to hug whatever's in between your legs. And then roll back forward, shoulder over hip. And step ourselves to. All right, so we're placing the straps back down. Taking the ball out, roll off, and let's bring the box up. So hopefully that's brought a little bit more awareness, centering into our tummy connection. All right, so we're going to go into our leg straps. So 1.5 springs on. Carefully rolling onto our back. Finding our spine pelvis position, pick up the straps. Pressing out to 2 straight legs. One foot comes into the strap. Good. Find the support through that leg that's in the strap and carefully bring the other leg off. All right, take a moment and find your frog position. So we've done this without the leg and footwork. The heels are connected. The thighs corkscrewing, drawing into the back of the hip. We've got that vertical waist suspension. Connect the arms into the trunk. Check the neutral pelvis. Check the lumbar spine position. Check the heaviness of the ribs. We might like to have 1 or 2 hands onto the lower belly here. Take a breath in. Exhale, can you feel the sink? Breath, gentle connection. Breath in. This time we press. Into the back of the hips. Vertical space through the spine. Pressing the legs out, you should feel that lower belly connection. So there's no popping, jumping, doming of the lower abdominals. Inhale into the side ribs to draw back to the froggy start position. And again, exhale, feel the hollowing with lumbar spine stability as we press out. Now, as the lever load of the legs gets greater, the centering, awareness needs to turn up. Inhale to roll the legs back. Couple more practices. Exhale. Sense of connection into lower abdominals. Keep dialing it up as those lever loads get greater. Inhale to return. Great feedback. Our hands in our lower tummy. Last one, we press out. We're going to try lifting and lowering. So we fold the legs at the hip into the hamstring length, trying to keep the neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Exhale, pressing into the strap from the upper hip. And then just watching how low we go. Only go as low as you feel like the tummy is connected and no abdominals popping. Inhale, start to float. Start to float those legs back up. Still in my external spine. And once more, exhale. Pressing the feet into straps. Finding that hip extensor connection. Pressing the legs down, keeping that abdominal support. Legs don't need to drop too far. So even if you are abdominally connected, you don't need to hang them lower than the hips. And float back. Keeping our neutral pelvis, neutral spine here. That'll be dependent, how much you can lift your legs will be dependent on your hamstring length. Let's try that 2 more times. Pressing it away. Lower abdominals connecting, supporting the lower that those legs go. Still with that waist suspension. Stretch the feet, stretch the legs, stretch the spine. Float the legs back up. Last practice. Take a moment there, print the position, supported, lengthened, float back. Carefully coming up, bending the 2 knees. One foot comes out of the strap, find the foot bar. Other foot comes out of the strap, draw the carriage. And then rolling off to bring ourselves up. All right, so we're going to go into hip flexion now. We're going to do our reverse knee stretch, but a sort of slight variation to that. I'm going really light with my spring. So I've got a yellow, which is a quarter spring. You could also do this with no spring. All right, we're going to find our quadruped position now. Yeah, reformer is really skating because it's light. So bringing my knees up against the shoulder rests, bringing hands just a little forward from my shoulder joint, starting to find my spine in a neutral position. And then with that, it's very light spring. I'm going to start to bring shoulders over the top of my hands, knees underneath my hips. So just our sort of quadruped stabilization breathing here, under that tiny bit of load of the spring. So practicing our lateral breath here. Top of the head reaching forwards, that gentle puff between the shoulder blades so that the shoulder blades are hugging onto our ribs. Neutral lumbar spine, so I might feel like I'm holding a little bowl of water through that lower back, neutral pelvis. Shins pressing down into the bed. Once more, that feeling of corkscrew drawing up the femur heads into the socket. Breathing in sideways. Exhale, continue to puff into the shoulder blade, also into the armpits to keep that connection to the torso. And finding that lower tummy, lower back support. Let's try 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Checking, try and keep those femurs, knees right underneath the hip joint. Last breath. And then carefully bring the carriage home. Little moment to rest off the wrist. So that's actually a really difficult position to hold, even under just that tiniest bit of load. But great practice to connect shoulder into trunk and then finding that support of the lower tummy. So we're now going to try a flat back position with a little bit of knee pull. So the knee pull will be coming from the deep lower abdominals and the deep hip muscles. Yeah, keep it tiny so it's not too much of the leg swing. I'm giving you the cues now because it's a little bit hard to talk sometimes when you're in the position. All right, so same setup. Bring the hands a little bit forwards. Set the spine pelvis in neutral. Draw the carriage a little off the stopper, finding hand, shoulder in a straight line, knee, hip in a straight line. Taking our lateral breath in, maintaining that neutral pelvis. Exhale, draw the femurs into a little bit of extra hip flexion from the hip muscles, from the lower tummy muscles. Watch that lower back doesn't change. Inhale, release the legs off just. Exhale, that vertical space from head through waist, through sit bones. Draw the legs into a little bit more hip flexion from the hip muscles, from the lower belly. Release. Few more. Exhale. And come back. As we do that, can the lower belly and the lower back muscles feel like they draw, connect? And release. Let's do one more. Shins continue to press down. And release. Okay, cool. Looks easy, not easy. All right, coming off to the side. So we're just going to practice a squat position ready for a flat back scooter. So I'm going to go side on to start with. So hip distance apart. We're going to hands on lower belly. We're going to come into our, like a little squat position. All right, I want you to think about the big toe, little toe, heel pressed into the floor. I want you to think once more about that spiral corkscrew at the femur heads into the back of the socket. My sit bones feel wide. I'm in my neutral spine position, so I've got a little bit of that gentle lumbar curve. Yep, really long from our head to our tail. And hands on the lower belly for support. All right, we're just going to do a couple of breaths here. So we're inhaling into our side ribs. And then exhale, Can you feel that tummy skin pull gently away from the hands, fingertips, drawing towards the deep low back? Inhale, release the belly off a little as we breathe into our side ribs. And then exhale, gently drawing the tummy skin away from the hands towards the low back without changing that longer curve. Breathing in. Exhale. All the while pressing the feet down, connecting up into the back of the hips. So I'm really getting a lot of connection, yeah, into my posterior hip here. Let's do 2 more. Breath in. Breathing out, tummy skin pulls away. Last one. It's actually really working my whole back of my spine. And breathing out. Pressing into the feet, standing up tall. Yes. All right, so we're going to take that now into a flat back scooter. Now my carriage is a little bit high. I'm just going to bring a little box in that I can stand on. So I'm going to put it about mid-bed. And I'm going to have a blue spring on, so a half. Okay. Bringing my standing foot onto the box, and then my carriage leg is going to be tucked under against the shoulder rest. So it's the same scooter position, but instead of being our round back with our hands on the footbar, we're going to once more find our flat back position. Now this can be really challenging to balance. So if you do need maybe like a fingertip on the carriage to start with, you can do that. So printing position, foot, corkscrew thigh into back of hip. Gentle press of the heel onto the shoulder rest, corkscrewing that carriage side into the back of the hip. Hands onto the lower belly, neutral pelvis, neutral spine in our diagonal. Take a breath in. Exhale, feel that gentle. Pull the belly into spine, lower back drawing in. So we're narrowing between these 2 points. Now we're going to add our little scooter leg, breath in. Exhale, tummy skin pulls away from fingertips. Pressing that little carriage leg back, keeping the rest of the body stable. Inhale, return. Exhale, tummy skin pulls in. And draws back in. Let's just do 2 more. Centering connection. Really keeping our spine pelvis stable. Last one. And draw back in and coming up. Now, if you get all of those exercises right, that is really burning through my back hip, and I feel a lot of connection now between that lower back, lower tummy. Yep, really building that strength. So I'm take my box to the other side, even myself out. So I've got a burning butt on both sides. All right, I'm taking a moment, print out position. So supporting foot, big toe, little toe, heel connection, corkscrewing that thigh into the back of the hip socket, gentle connection of the foot into the shoulder rest. You could always put a little pad or something there if you don't have the range for your toes, because you do want that connection into the shoulder rest. Neutral spine pelvis on the diagonal. Hands onto the lower belly for feedback. 1 breath. Inhale. Exhale, scoop. Draw belly in. That support from lower belly to lower back. Inhale, prepare. Lower belly draws in again as we press the carriage leg away. Only as far as you can keep the rest of the body stable. Inhale back. Exhale. Press away. But a lot of work through my standing, supporting leg here. Exhale. Connect. Press. Length. Vertical. 1 more. And draw it back in. Yikes. Okay, prune. So I'm going to put the long backs back on, and I'm going to bring my foot bar down. So for me, my carriage, the box is just in front of the shoulder rest. I'm going to keep my blue spring on, and I'm going to bring my large sort of head cushion here. You could use a block or you could use a ball. A little bit difficult to get it in, but we'll see how we go. So to carefully get on, 2 hands onto the front of the box. Swing one leg up without changing the box. And bring it towards someone. So I'm going to have my chest just forward of the box, and being nice and fancy, going to bring the cushion between my ankles. I'm just going to have a neutral position of my spine today as we go into our pulling straps one. So I'm going to hold just a little higher than the actual straps. I'm going to be, as I said, neutral, but with a slight feeling of upper back extension. You can keep the hands onto the sides of the carriage. I'm just going to take a couple of breaths with that. So we're finding that head reaching forward, that verticalness through our waist, the reach of the legs away, so the hamstrings and my glutes are supporting. The front ribs are continuing to draw in, lower belly is supporting the lower back. I'm going to take my hands off to connect the hand to the elbow, to the shoulder, to the trunk, without moving the spine. Exhale, I'm going to begin to swing, reach, the arms back. Pause here and breathe, punching the knuckles back. Top of the head reaching forward. Collarbones reaching wide. Inhale to return. Once more, draw lower belly and lower back towards each other. Pulling, reaching, drawing those arms back. Stay, breathe, print, head forward, legs reaching back, front ribs wrapped. Roll back. 2 more. Exhale. Front ribs wrapped. Lower belly supporting the back. Return. Spine staying really stable in this neutral, very tiny extended position. Exhale, reach. And come back. Oh, and I am cooked. Straps back on. Pushing out the legs. All right, the carriage is light, but hopefully I'm going to try and keep going. Into some lateral work. Now we're going to do our side lift single in a little side supported position. So I'm going to have my elbow pressing into the headrest. I'm going to have the arm, humerus, sucking up into my shoulder joint. 2 straight legs, shoulder stacked, ribs stacked, hip stacked. I'm going to bring my other arm up to the ceiling. I'm going to use the oppositional force of elbow press down to stretch across the chest and stretch out to my top fingers. Now I'm going to think the verticalness from the head, suspended waist, 2 straight legs, knees facing forwards. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Can you feel the lower belly and the lower back drawing, deepening towards each other? Breath in. And again. Lower belly, lower back, drawing, narrowing, supporting. My 2 legs are hovering, so I've got adductors, particularly on that underneath side. Once more, breath in. Printing, connecting. Let's do a few lifts. Breath in. Exhale, keep the top waist long, keep the underneath waist supported. Follow that top leg up. Stay. Check that lower belly support. Check you haven't lost any of your verticalness. Inhale, lower belly. Exhale, connect to the waist. Top side's not dropping. Underneath side's not collapsing. And we lower. Last one. And come back down. Remember, spring is light. So just be really careful of bringing yourself up. Oh, go the other side. elbow underneath the shoulder. So this is a bit like a side plank, side support position. So I'm going to press the elbow down. I'm going to feel the connection puff into my armpit. I'm going to stretch my top arm to the ceiling. Find that opposition across the shoulders. I've got my shoulders stacked, my ribs stacked, my hips stacked, my 2 straight legs. 3 breaths to start. Inhaling. Feel the lower belly to lower back drawing towards each other. Breath in across side ribs. Exhale, connect to centering, trunk stability, pelvic stability. One more breath. Adding a leg lift. Inhale. Exhale, top leg lifts. Not losing any of that trunk support or trunk length. Inhale. We press. Down. Last time. Good, and then carefully coming up, remembering once more, spring is light. Oh, coming off to the side. Having a moment. And let's just stand. Find our vertical posture there. So can we imagine the pubic bone at the front, the tailbone at the back, the 2 sit bones either side. They're a diamond position, facing straight down towards the floor. So if we did an imprint, that diamond would be starting to swing towards the wall in front of you. Come back, see if you can find that diamond centered. Now go into the anterior tilt, so you sort of stick your bottom out a little bit, feel that diamond face more towards the wall behind. And come back. Let's try that again. So it's like you're imprinting, rocking that we sometimes do supine to find our pelvis lumbar neutral in a standing position. One last time. Sense of imprint. Back. Diamond of the pelvis facing the floor. Stick your tail out. Coming into that neutral setting. Good, we have the sense of the arms reaching down. Big toe, little toe, heel connected to the floor. And let's just challenge our vertical posture with some arm raises. So we're going to breathe in and reach the arms up. Check it came from our shoulders, didn't arch our back. Exhale, press the arms down. And we go again. Sense of feet pressing into the floor. No change to our pelvis, our spine, particularly the ribs. As we reach up, I'll be able to get that full shoulder flexion. And come back down. Last one. Breathing in. Stay here. Feel the feet press down. Feel that vertical lift of the spine, waist that we've been working on. Top of the head reaching up, fingertips reaching up. Press the arms down and you're able to get a little taller as you do that. And we're all done. Thanks for coming. Bye.